Hello, everyone. Again, this is Dr. Mike Chua, physical therapist and certified dementia practitioner. And I'm just excited today that we've got a special guest. Right now, we have this is two webinars that we're running. We're running this live in our alternative healthcare careers group or page, and then also in our webinar through Zoom. So if you're in the Zoom webinar, there's a question and answer portion. I don't know where you can see it. It's either on the upper part or the lower part. There's a Q&A option there on the bottom. If you have any questions, shoot it there. You can also ask any questions on the chat section. But again, welcome to our quick webinar here. We've got Jennifer Trevino. She's an occupational therapist. She has a business, called the Functionality for Life. So again, thank you very much, Jennifer, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me, Mike.
Well, first of all, where are you at right now?
I'm actually in Tampa, Florida.
Oh gosh, the weather there, I guess, is so good, right?
Nice and warm right now. Definitely better than the cold.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Well, we're just excited. I was just talking to one of our moderators in our group, ACG. Her name is Emma, and she's also excited with what we're doing right now. And we've got lots of people lined up, but this is one of the many questions that always comes up in our group about home modification. So Jennifer here is doing her business, and we're just gonna pick her brain and see what we can do, how we can help this group bring out the best in them. So tell us about yourself, Jen.
Well, I'm an occupational therapist and working in home health. And I also got my extra certifications for home modifications, which I'll explain a little bit more later. But I just, interested in definitely helping people remain independent in the community and stay in their own homes. So I love helping people.
Oh, wow. So what made you decide to do this? I know you're an OT, but what made you decide to do this home modification business?
Well, as far as being an occupational therapist, you see people day in, day out, whether it's in the hospital, in the rehab, or whatever setting you're in. And, they break a hip or something happens and their health deteriorates, obviously, and it makes it difficult for the same level they were at. So a lot of them have to make decisions. Am I able to go back home? And it's one that shouldn't have to be so early on, such a deciding factor early on. So I went and got some extra continuing education, learned about home modification, and it really sparked my interest because I thought this is the way, we want to see, especially as occupational therapists, you want to work with people in their own setting, and the home is perfect. So how do we get them back to that setting where they're most comfortable, where they can stay free in their community with their family, being around the ones they love? So beyond just the initial training, I went and got my executive certification in home modification through the University of Southern California. And then I also got my CAPS, which is the Certified Aging in Place Specialist, through the National Association of Home Builders. So that positions me to be uniquely prepared to address safety and independence in the home setting above and beyond, the home builders or contractors out there that are also trying to help people, quote unquote, age in place.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well, this certification looks really, really fancy. So for me, for example, I'm a PTA or a COTA or, any other therapist. What's your initial recommendation? Should I get the executive certification or the CAPS, or there's another thing, right? What's the other thing?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few. There's CLIP, there's the CIAC, there's Home Safety Advisor. There's lots of different courses out there, but I think in my experience, what I've learned is you're looking for something that's recognizable and at the same time provides enough education for you to feel like you can get out there beyond, just your therapy training and feel like you know what you're addressing to properly help people the most.
Cool. So you have the two certification, right? So which one would you recommend first, for starters, like, for example, me, what would you recommend?
I think initially, just based on my experience, I think the executive certification in home modifications, it's a little more lengthy, but it definitely gives you a lot more information and goes more in depth as far as resources, actually doing evaluations, looking for community resources, learning how to reach out and build relationships in the community to really start branching out.
Mm-hmm. So how much is the executive certification, and then the
The
caps? How
executive,
much the difference?
yeah, the executive certification is a little more pricey. It's about $900 if you sign up for all, but it's a 5-part module, and there's 4 courses that are about 5 weeks in length. It's all online. You don't have to go anywhere. You work through the web as far as meeting with the professor and doing courses together with other students in the group, all online. And then it's the last one is a 1-week course. So you finish in about 4.5 months or so, but
Not
it's
bad.
definitely very thorough.
Is it not bad for $900? It's like 5 or 6 months course. I pay more than that on the mastermind group that I join, and the other groups that I join. So how about for the caps? How much would that cost, and how long?
The caps was actually only a 3-day class, and it's definitely just a kind of quick and dirty, goes through the business aspect a little bit more, how to address marketing, speaking to people in the community, learning to build relationships with other, contractors, designers, other people that are also looking for the certification, so that you can also build a network while you're there in the class.
Okay, cool. You mentioned about evaluation earlier when you mentioned the ECHM thing. So a lot of our assistant colleagues, COTAs and PTAs, they have question about, hey, can I practice this independently? Do I need an OTR to supervise me? Do they need to have an OTR to supervise them when doing this type of business, or yes or no?
I would say no if you're going in as a home safety advisor or a home modifications consultant. You're not addressing yourself as an occupational therapist or a physical therapist. If you do that, then it would be different. You need to be, the therapist, not the assistant. But if you're going in as a home safety advisor, absolutely could be a COTA or PTA.
There you go. So this is not just a limitation for, for assistants, this is just an alternative career that like we were talking about, it's just separates you from the normal pack. So thank you for clarifying that, Jen. So let me move on to the next slide. So what do you do? So
well, as far as my business goes, I offer home safety and accessibility evaluations, and I can do partial or whole home. If people are interested in just looking at their bedroom and bathroom and they're not really concerned with the entire home, we can also just look at the main safety concern areas or entry exit, as far as ramps or other things in the front and back. And then from there, usually I would have people contact me by phone, talk with them, learn about their situation, set up a time to come out, go over the evaluation, and then from there I would give them my recommendations. And it's up to them with how far they would want to go. I give them extensive list of things, and it's really up to them how much they would want to do, how little or how a lot, if they wanted to make most of the recommendations, whatever they're interested in. And then I would consult with their builder or designers, and as they go along the process to make sure that everything is what we're recommending.
You're like Chip and Joanne, could you be like Chip and Joanne?
Be good.
Oh, we gotta remove this wall or something like that, right?
Exactly. Open concept, right?
Open concept, right?
Lots of space, definitely accessible. That's the key. And then from there, you want to follow up and make sure that they're using the things, they know what they're comfortable implementing, whatever has been put in to make things more accessible and independent for them.
Oh, wow. So, well, you mentioned about partial and whole. I think just within this realm, you could have a sub niche on it, like a bathroom expert or whatever, or a ramp expert, right? I think you can also do that, a niche under a niche. So for example, if you're doing this, because a lot of people are going to do this eventually, because
Yeah.
it's a good business, it's a very viable business. And if you sub niche more, you could be the bathroom lady or whatever, or the ramp lady or a ramp man, that they're going to look at you. Oh, if you talk about ramp, let's just talk about Jennifer or something, because in somewhere in Dyersburg, there is this construction company, but under their construction company, it says specializes in ramp.
Mm-hmm.
But all they do is ramp according to their advertisement, but they do other stuff too. So I think that's a good thing. You're doing sub niche. So that's, I think, good. So
I think it naturally kind of falls in that, depending on your clientele. Depending
mhm.
on who you're working with, you'll find that there's, you're going to see more that are needing ramps, or you're going to find that you're treating more in the bathroom. So I think that's just going to naturally happen depending on who your clientele will be.
Mhm. So what is your most common, type of modification that you do? I don't know. Do you do more on
That
bathrooms? Yeah.
definitely bathroom, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, safety is the biggest issue there. And I think it's the lack of knowledge of what's out there for them
Mm-hmm.
to remain independent and safe. And a lot of the time the family's involved and they're trying their best to help them, to access the shower or access, to get to the toilet, and make sure that they're able to do as much as they can on their own. But obviously safety is the concern. So the family positions themselves as much as they can, but they're almost hurting themselves in the long run because they don't know what's out there that the client could be using so that they could be doing more themselves. So I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of it is just education, getting out there and showing them these are the things that are out there. Would you be interested in doing this, so that your husband or your wife could also, still get into the bath and take a bath, as opposed to having to walk into the shower. A lot of the elderly like taking baths still, but it just seems like it's off the table altogether once they're not able to get in and out. So
Oh, wow.
it's definitely
Oh,
bringing awareness to what's out there.
oh, wow. I guess there's a lot of what do you call this, opportunities for this type of business. I attended what you call this the Nursing Home Association, Assisted Living and Nursing Home Association meeting one time, and there are a lot of what you call that, administrators who
Mm-hmm.
are actually not builders, who are actually building assisted living facilities, but they're not really what you call this patient friendly. How do you say that?
Yes. Oh, I find that
So,
often. I work in assisted living and I've been in
mhm.
nursing homes, and you find that, they claim to be user friendly, but when you go in, there's thresholds that make it impossible to clear with the
I
wheelchairs or
know.
walkers. And it's just safety risks all around. And they're following a lot of the time ADA. Whereas in the home, you don't have to follow the ADA. You're looking at the individual, you're assessing the client in their home, which makes it prime, especially for us as therapists. This is what we do,
Mhm.
whether we're in the hospital or whether we're in the home. We're looking at how do they best move and what's safest for that person. So I think we are honestly best educated to get out there, as opposed to the builders and contractors,
There
and
you go.
they're just following standards, and we're looking at the individual to really give them the best fits.
I know. I just went to an assisted living yesterday. It was nice and fancy and everything, but the hand soap was just all the way on the top.
Yes.
How I can reach it? I'm
Mhm.
short.
Yeah.
I had a hard time reaching it. What more for those people who are in the wheelchair? I'm like, gosh.
Yeah.
So those simple stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So, oh
Yeah.
well,
It kills
yeah,
me.
let's go. Yeah. Uh, and then let me move on to your next slide. So how did you start it? So.
Oh, absolutely. As an
Mhm.
OT, and I think almost all the therapists here could relate, you see people struggling as they age to stay in their home for multiple reasons. And it's so frustrating to them, and they don't want to give up their independence. So working with people in different settings, whether it was in the hospital, outpatient, subacute, rehab, et cetera, um, I just wanted to make sure we could get people to wherever they felt most comfortable. So
Cool.
watching them give up that independence and have to go to assisted living or nursing home is very frustrating. And so I wanted to figure out how we could get them home. And learning about home modifications definitely opens that door some more. And working
Good.
with people, you want to make sure that you get their best fit within their own environment.
Mm-hmm. So basically, how do you market yourself? Do you market yourself through Facebook or, senior center and stuff like that?
Yes, through Facebook is a good tool. Also, if you have a website, that helps. But it's mostly
I saw
getting
your
out there.
website. Very nice.
Thank you. It's mostly getting out there and educating, just because people aren't aware that this exists and they don't know to look to that a lot of the time. That's why you know, we give recommendations whether we're discharging them from the hospital, and the family is just kind of left to figure out how do they get things put into place. And they're going off of basics. They don't know where things are supposed to be. They don't know exactly what they're supposed to be finding. And so they just kind of scramble and look for contractors. And contractors will then tend to follow ADA. They don't follow what is best for the client. So that's where we got to get in and really educate and push for the things that we can do best to really help that client get the most for their money out of the things that they're going to be putting in place anyways.
You know what? That is so true. I do home health. As you can see, I'm still in my scrub suit and everything. I do home health and I do Oasis. And this is part of the scope of practice. This is part of, best practice that we need to do the home assessment. But I'm telling you now, honestly, I don't have time to do it. I don't have time
Yeah.
to, I spend like an hour or two doing just the Oasis admission and another 2 hours at home. I don't really have time to do this. So I think if you have this business and you tap the home health people, hey, I can do a special consulting for your clients and get paid out of pocket. It's a very good service.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I think you want to tap more into, as opposed to the home health, you want to keep with the ones that are like the caregivers that already
mhm.
they're providing the assistance to clients. They want to keep their clients in the home, and you're extending that so that they can extend their business too. So it's like a hand in hand.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hmm.
So, well, you already mentioned about your different certification and stuff like that. I already asked you about that. Uh, so how did you decide to choose this certification, by the way?
Actually just kind of going online and looking through things, seeing what they offered. I kind of felt like the executive certification was really thorough. Just if you go off of their website, it shows you quite a bit of what their courses will involve. And I like the idea that it wasn't just therapists, that I had people that were lighting specialists in my class, and contractors, just people from all over the country, all over the world, actually, because I had someone from Canada in the group also. Just different, everybody brings a different background and different niche, that they can shed light in different areas. So it kind of makes the conversations really wonderful. You learn a lot more in that aspect. And then as far as branching out past that, once I started with my business, it became a recognizability thing. And CAPS, people would ask, are you CAPS certified? And it's really one of those things that kind of just helps to push you over to say, yeah, absolutely, I'm a CAPS certified specialist. And then it's more recognizable with the builders. So then when you're going out to market with, builders, contractors, or whomever, it's something that they automatically recognize.
So in whichever certification course, do they teach you how to reach out to different builders or teach you how to reach out to, engineers or architects and stuff like that? Or did you do it on your own?
They do give you basics of it. I mean, obviously
Hmm.
it's kind of on your own as far as
Hmm.
them telling you, these CAPS offers a list of other CAPS certified people. So you can always go off of that to help you find some people in your area. The ECHM also has a list, and you are, as long as you allow it, you're placed on the list too as a provider when you're finished for both of those. So this way people can reach out to you. As far as learning how to reach out to them, I mean, they kind of give you a little basic in the course, but it's really more or less you taking the lead and getting out there.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be you. So can you teach us how to reach out? Okay. We got a question here.
Oh,
Does
sure.
any potential client ever ask if you are ECHM? So basically she's asking, if your client, if they ever ask if you are ECHM certified?
I have not been asked that, but it is something that I bring up. And I think just saying you have the credentials definitely gives you a little bit more presence, you know, as far as when you're making the recommendations, it definitely helps.
Cool, cool. That's true. I mean, not because you have the certification per se. Just like for me, you know, I always say certified dementia practitioner, but nothing really. But when they hear that, especially patients or family or caregivers, they're like, "Oh, wow, that's good." Or if I tell them I have a book, they were like, "Oh, I'm talking to an author." So, but nothing really
Exactly.
fancy, just a simple book. Okay, there's another question here. CAPS seems to be more recognizable. Is that true?
Yes, definitely. I'd say as far as certifications that are recognizable, CAPS and CLIP would probably be the most recognizable,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who you're talking to. But as far as other therapists, other definitely builders, when you go out to the building conventions, CAPS and CLIP are definitely more recognizable. And I'd say
Mm.
CAPS would be the top.
Okay. So what does the clips mean? Oh, I
I
think I
haven't
know it.
taken that course.
You know what? I think I
I
know it. Certified living in place specialist or something like that.
yeah,
Certified
professional.
living in place.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
certified living in place professional, I believe.
Yeah. So I don't
And
know, but
they're also like
mhm.
in a sense through, it's not through the National Association of Home Builders, but they definitely tend to work more with the contractors and designers.
Mm.
So they're trying to make it a whole area as opposed to just therapists.
Okay, cool. And this is what we're talking about, you know, in the alternative healthcare careers or ACG alternative careers group. We have to learn how to branch out, not just here in our own therapy world, because what happens is that we're stuck in this therapy world and, you know, we're not growing. Once you get out of that therapy world, you'll see all the possibilities. In my case, you know, I didn't want to be I know I wanted to be a fellow of ABPTS or a fellow of physical therapy or whatever, but I went out and, you know, I didn't go the route of the GCS route, you know, certified geriatric specialist, because first of all, it's hard. Second, it takes so long for me to study that. So what I did is
Yeah.
branch out, went to certified dementia practitioner course. It's a 1-day course, and you know, I was able to interact with social worker, interact with nurses, interact with different administrator. So I do that, and I went out. Same thing with Jennifer. She went out of her comfort zone. Our comfort zone is the therapy, and she went out. You know, right now she went out, do the ECHM, did the caps, and now she's, you know, flying her wings, getting out of her comfort zone. All right. So, okay. There's another question here from one of our listeners. I sound like a radio announcer. This is one of our listeners. What kind of liability insurance do you carry?
That one I've gotten through, actually I went through Mercer and I was able
Mercer.
to explain the kind of business that I said, independent contractor, I'm doing home modifications consulting, and they were able to give me a policy through that.
Cool, cool. If you go to Mercer, that's good. I use American Professional for my business. It's actually, I used to use HPSO for my business, but it has
Hmm.
come to a point that's so expensive. It's like $800
Yeah.
for me.
Okay. Yeah.
And
HPSO wasn't going to cover what we were doing. So unless
wow.
the person that I spoke with wasn't understanding it clear enough, he was saying that they were not going to offer me something, or if they would, it would be too expensive. So
Oh, wow.
definitely you got to keep looking around and explain as much as you can to people, because they're not sure when you sell them home modifications. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is it, as you're walking into the home, what kind of coverage do you need? So you definitely want to clarify
Mhm.
that with them.
That's good. Mercer. What do you know, the website, or just Google Mercer?
Yeah, sorry, I don't have it offhand.
Okay, never mind.
We
So
would be
we'll
Google
Google it
Mercer for
later.
sure.
We'll have
Yeah.
Tasha take care of that. And what I use is American Professional. They're very professional, right? American Professional, and they're so open and they take care of you. And I have my own therapy thing, my home health thing, contracting, plus the outpatient, not outpatient, the in-home therapy where we do bill cash. And there's a lot of what do you call this stuff there that nobody can understand. Even HPSO, they don't understand
Yeah.
about if cash. So I just decided to call some of my other friends who does cash based practice, and they recommended American Professional. So if you're I hope that answers your question, Catherine. There's another question here. Do you work under a doctor's order?
Okay. That one, if you were to do that, you would probably be billing through Medicare as opposed to being private pay. I do not, because I am not working as an occupational therapist. I'm using my occupational therapy background as training, along with my executive certification in home mods and CAPS. But I am not an occupational therapist when I'm on the home mods consulting. So no, I do not work under a doctor's order under that.
There you go. There you go. No, sometimes we just have to get out of that insurance hat and go out. I have the gym that I go to. There's a personal trainer there. He charges $40 half an hour.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw what he was doing. I mean, I was like, this is just therapy, putting the patient in the bicycle and everything. And he used to work for a therapist, and if he can do that without doctor's order, why can we not do it? I mean, I'm not saying we're disobeying the doctor's order, but we just have sometimes to get out of that insurance hat and then try to find all these certification things that we can do. And that way we can be the best that we can be and find an alternative career. So thank you for that question, Catherine. All right. Okay. All right. So here's the next slide here. Me and Jennifer, we've decided actually, with the approval of the alternative healthcare team, that we will plan on doing a, 4-week webinar on how Jennifer does this. She'll teach us how to start your own business, teach us how to, market yourself. She's basically not going to teach the CAPS thing, she can't do that, or the ECHM, but she'll teach you the ins and outs of this business. I'll throw in some ideas too that I can share, and that way we can bring out the best in you. So right now we are actually offering this course, I think, how much? $97, right, Jen? And then if you put in ACG, it's not 50%, it's $50 discount. So if you put in ACG on this website, drmikechua.com/Jennifer Trevino. Did I say that right, Jen?
Yes.
You get $50 discount. So it'll be like $47. Come on now, it's $47 for 4 weeks of interaction with Jennifer. I think this will be really, really good, and that way, we pay, we provide the, some service and pay to Jennifer. So if you are interested, shoot a message, comment down below that you're interested, or sign up in our website. That way, I want to learn from Jennifer too. I want to learn, because someday I could do this too. Right now I'm not,
Definitely.
but because it's just part of our system as a therapist. We do this. So I want to learn from her. Regardless if we get enrollees or not. We're just going to do this. Me and Jennifer, we're just going to talk about this, and bring out the best in each other. If you're, if you want to join, come join us. It's going to be interactive, question and answer, and stuff like that. If we get at least 10, we can also do a not the live Q&A, but video one-on-one or something like that, or like a group video wherein we can see each other and talk with each other, throw questions, and like what we're doing right now, me and Jennifer, we could see each other right now, the two of us. But if you come into our, our small group, we can, all the people could talk about, how we can start and bring out the best in each other, how to start this type of business. So, well, anybody out there? Oh, okay. There's a question here. Did you have to develop your website, Jen?
I did not develop it. Well, I mean, I did put the content in, obviously, but I hired a web developer to put the page together.
Okay.
So
I'm going to throw this out here. They couldn't?
Oh,
okay.
No, absolutely. You can make your own.
Yeah. I'm going to throw this out there. For those people who will join our webinar, this 4 week, I'm going to help you build your website. I'm going to help you build it. Obviously, you pay for the domain and everything, because I've been helping building out website. I don't know if you, on the very first year on this alternative careers group, I think I've done like 3 or 4 websites for other people who were looking for their job. So I'll help you if you decide to join our webinar. I'll help you build your website. I mean, with Jennifer's permission, of course. We're gonna try to, uh, uh, you know, tinker with her website. You know, not really copy, but you know, mimic. Is that how you say?
Absolutely.
Mimic her website and see, you know, how we can bring out the best in you. If you want to, I don't know how to do the fancy ones like what I have, but I know how to do the static page, you know, the one pager website. I'll help you build that. But if you decide to get your own domain, for example, like mine, drmikechua.com, you got to pay it, you know, so, but I'll help you initially to build that website if you're interested, Lynn. So, all right. Question from the Facebook group. Is this something a COTA can do? Yeah. Is that right, Jen?
Absolutely. Depending on how you market yourself, you're not going to be saying, you can say you have occupational therapy training, and you're definitely using all that knowledge that you have because you see it day in and day out as a COTA. But you're not going to be, you're not doing the evaluation as a COTA. You're doing the evaluation more as a home safety advisor.
You know what? One of my PTA in Dyersburg, she's a not a personal trainer. She is not a yoga teacher. What's the other one that does the stretching thing?
Pilates.
Pilates, yeah. She's a Pilates lady, and she quit her job as a PTA. She used to be a manager. She used to be a manager in a nursing home, and you know, I was hiring her to be my home health PTA. She said, "Michael, I don't think I can do your PTA thing, your rate, because I'm earning more now as a Pilates instructor in a local gym, just to do her thing." And she has a web page and she presents physical therapy. She's not saying she's a physical therapist, but she says, I have experience in physical therapy and I can use it in my Pilates thing. And people are going to her on her training session. So if she can do this, you guys can do this too. I mean, so if that's the question, if a COTA can do this, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Just don't
We
present
hold
yourself.
so much knowledge. We have so much experience. We need to get out there and really share that, because otherwise we're competing and we're letting the builders and contractors who don't have much knowledge of this past, you know, whatever ADA code says, and they're putting it into people's homes and they're messing up their bathrooms, and people are spending all this money and putting things in place that they're not even going to use.
It's so true. You know, I just did an Oasis. I just did an Oasis this morning, and I'm like, this is not even right, you know. So Lynne Carter here said, I'm an SLP wanting to pursue this avenue. I mean, I guess an SLP can do this, right?
I believe any therapist, we go into the homes and we're looking at a lot of the same things, you know. I mean, I'm sure she's addressing cognition, and she would, you know, be able to look around at the environment. I would definitely recommend taking some continuing eds, or, you know, getting the ECHM, so that you could branch out and learn some more about home modifications per se, so that you would feel more comfortable. But I don't see why not.
Cool. All right. Another thing you mentioned about CEU. So once you've gotten those CAPS certification, do you need to get CEUs to keep those certifications?
You do need to maintain, yes. For the CAPS you do. For the ECHM you do not. But for CAPS you do. It's ongoing. You have to, in order to continue to renew it, you have to continue with your CEUs, and some of those are through you can do them through the home builders.
Okay, cool. I guess the certification or the CEUs, do you have to attend their course again, or can you get other CEU from other company like I don't know, MedBridge or whatever?
Yeah, well, it depends what they consider. You know, I mean, if you look through their list of approved providers, then it's just like, you know, our licensing and everything else. Only certain ones are approved, certain ones considered live, certain ones are considered, you know, through web. So this way, you can definitely still continue with other vendors. It doesn't have to only be through theirs. So,
Cool.
but they do offer a lot of things online. So that definitely helps.
Cool. Another question. The caps, the ECHM, does it go under OTR's CEU too? No.
Actually, the ECHM, some of the courses did, yes. The
Okay.
CAPS does not.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, that's one question I have in mind, because my when I did my transitional DPT, but it counted under my CEU, so I didn't have to do CEU for 2 years when I was doing my transitional. Well,
Right.
anyway, we have another question here. Are you still okay, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There's another question from Rachel. Did I miss a mention of the cost of CAPS? How much does CAPS cost?
Oh, CAPS was about, I think it was about 600 something for the 3-day course.
600.
And then I think you may pay a little extra once you pass the exam for the certification.
Oh, so you have an exam
And then
too,
it's
huh?
ongoing maintenance too, that, as far as renewal, then you have to keep up with that, but it's not too pricey.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. 600 for a 3-day course, $200. I mean, I think it's really good. So when you say 3-day course, is it supposed to be live?
It is, yes, definitely. You look for one around your area, and it's a 3-day, all-day course each day.
So who teach the course? I mean, is it a builder or an OT or a therapist or?
The one that I went to was a builder, so it just
Mhm.
depends, as they have them run by different people around the country. I think, you'll see a range: contractors, builders, different people.
Do you plan on teaching a CAPS course someday?
I'm not sure. That's interesting. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
thought that far. I like with my practice right now. So.
Okay. And that's what I did when I attended that certified dementia practitioner course, and I've been teaching patient about dementia, wrote a book and everything. I said, well, I think I can teach this course, so I applied to be a train the trainer thing. So now I'm teaching it. So well, there's another question here from Lynne. I hope it's okay if I say your name, Lynne. Her question was, where do both of you practice, in what state?
I'm in Florida.
Mm-hmm. So what setting do you practice, Jen? Home health, right?
I practice as an occupational therapist in home health, but as far as my home mods business, that's just private pay. So I go see people
Private
in the
pay.
community wherever they may contact me through.
Okay. Well, for me, Lynn, I'm here in Tennessee. I'm here in a big city here called Martin, Tennessee. It's very big, probably 10,000 people here. We got more cows than human beings. And I actually do home health and a lot more. So did I miss the rates that she charges? Okay, how much? Oh yeah, we forgot to ask you that. How much do you charge per
Yeah.
visit?
Okay.
That's
Well,
we can't forget that, right?
yeah, definitely. I think I'm on the lower end. I charge $120 an hour, and
How much?
120 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But
Not
depending
bad.
on who you go through, I mean, people charge hundreds. So it just really depends on the person and who their audience is, what people are willing to pay. Some people charge, by square footage of the house. Some people charge a flat fee. It really just depends on the individual. I've seen businesses run all different ways.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. So there's another question here. Are you able to work full time in this business or just part time or
Presently, it's just a part-time thing. I
part
think
time?
just
Okay.
as far as getting enough recommendations, people are always trying to go through insurance first. So private pay is usually secondary, but if you get in, the more people that you get out to see, word of mouth definitely helps.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the thing there. Making yourself, creating yourself your own specific niche, and people will keep on going to you, even though you're not. Just like in my case, uh, I do get online consultation for my certified dementia thing, but because they think of me as the dementia practitioner, I get a lot of referrals from all over, because they think, I know dementia. Now they think I know stroke too. I know hip, and I know this and that. I just have a new, patient that is not approved by insurance, and they're paying out of pocket with everything, and just
Nice.
because of that. So, well, anyway, let's go back to the questions here. Uh, so yes, this is all cash based. And how long does she usually stay in the home? So how long do you do the evaluation?
That depends obviously by whether or not you're doing, whole home evaluation, partial home evaluation, how much time you want to spend with the person on the phone beforehand to really identify what the issues are so that you can go there kind of prepared, with already kind of like in your mind what you're looking for, to see what they have and what will need to be put into place so you can write up an evaluation or write up, your recommendations. But on average, I would say at least you spend a couple hours in the home.
Couple of hours.
But I tend to talk a lot with people, so I'm sure you could speed it up if you're fast.
They need that. Yeah. They need somebody to tell them, hey, this is wrong. I think you need to remove this rug here. I think you need to do that. You're paying me to do this. So I think
well, you want to see the person moving in their own home. So you want to see them transfer and whatnot. So, depending on the person and how fast they move too, you have to factor that in.
That's so true. Well, I guess my next question in connection to that, what document do you use? Do you have a paper document, a computer? Do you use Google Cloud, or did CAPS give you a checklist or whatever, or the ECHM gave you?
No, they did not. They did not. You kind of have to come up with your own, and it's really more or less what you're comfortable with. So I think as far as therapy, we kind of go in with a certain eye anyways. And we're looking around, and you learn more through the courses as far as, other layers, whether it's lighting or, as far as the client's history, whether they have low vision, those kinds of things you want to be looking for and watching them as they're performing their occupation. So you have an idea already of what you're looking through, and it's really up to you as far as addressing it, how to write it up.
Oh, so
but
it's
I
just like
paper.
you type it up?
Yeah, I do paper.
Okay. You mentioned low vision. Actually, this is what do you call this? A underserved
Another niche.
or
Yeah.
not utilized. It is a not utilized technique by OTs, especially in home health. And when I saw the OT who did this, I'm like, we should be doing this more. And apparently they're not doing it because we're like, okay, let's do upper body thing. Let's do ADLs. But if you can be the low vision person for the home modification thing, I think you're going to have a good niche there too, right?
Well, I think a lot of that is taken into account when you're doing the home mods. It's really important as far as, what is the lighting like as far as safety, and whether it's in the bathroom, are they going to the bathroom at nighttime? What is the lighting like for them? How will they be able to feel their way around if they're not seeing clearly? Where do the markers need to be? Just so many areas, not necessarily just the bathroom, kitchen, everywhere in the home. How do you set up the environment for them to be the most independent? So cool. It's just one more factor that you take into account.
Yeah. Thank you for answering that. Okay. Next question is, do you promote or recommend yourself to your home health patients or family members, or do you get that out of potential clients?
I don't, as far as with my home health. I don't want any overlap, any issues there, because obviously their insurance, Medicare, and then I just don't like trying to pick from the same pot. So I go out into the community and
that's right.
Advertise there.
It's so true. You know what? I got called out one time by my boss because we get cash patients. So for example, the patient gets discharged from home health, and then we pick them up for cash pay. And my boss said, well, Michael, you can't do that. I said, well, we've discharged the patient. And they said, well, what if you just decide to discharge the patient because you want them for your cash base? I said, why would I do that? So we just, me and my assistant just decided, okay, we're not going to get any patients from our home health patients, and we'll just do our own marketing, promote it, go to the gyms, go to, golf club, golf area, and promote our own business. So this is what you want to do. You don't want to, you're right. You don't want to dip on the same whatever. So, all right. Hello. Is that your
Yeah,
daughter?
my daughter. Yeah.
Hello, baby. All right. So another question. You still got time, Jen? What time is it?
Yeah, just a little bit
Okay.
longer. Sure.
Marketing. There's a question here. This marketing question mark. How do you market yourself?
How do I market myself? Different areas. I tend to go out and try and educate, and along the way, pass out my cards and talk to people. Just go into different businesses. Like I said earlier, as far as going out like caregiving, like the home, not home health, but the home, like home advisors that go in, and spend the one-on-one where they're hired hourly, as far as trying to promote your business to help them keep their clients in their home.
Cool. All right. Next question. We got lots of questions, Jen. So how long have you been doing home modification consulting? So
I actually started about 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's never too late. She just started. I just started my thing, If, the best time to plant a tree is not yesterday, but today. I don't know, forgot that quote. The quote said the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best thing is today. Something like that. And then next question.
Late, right?
I know, right? Next question is from Sarah. And can you do caregiver training with this business? I guess, yeah, right?
Yes. You can actually extend however direction you like. I know there's people that also follow up and do like well visits and well checks. So they'll, go out and make recommendations, follow up with training. And then also depending, people have family that live all over the country and they want to know mom and dad is still okay. How are they doing with everything? Are they still using everything that's been put in place? Do they need anything else? Do further modifications need to be made? So it's kind of nice to be able to have that follow up if you offer that service.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think that's good. And especially with the technology now, the telehealth, and with this app that we use, Zoom, I think you can do that. Hey, I'm here. You want to walk around? I can use this cell phone or whatever. So I think, yeah, this is going to be the wave of the future, All right. There's some more question here. Do you have the CAP certification mostly for marketing, or do you think it is very useful and essential?
As far as occupational therapy, and I would assume same thing for physical therapy, I didn't feel like it offered that much more training as far as being able to go in and, do an assessment, but it provided different layers of marketing and business aspects. And then the aspect of being able to network in your class with other builders and just open that area a little bit more. That
is so true. That is so right. You get the certification not because you want that extra letter behind your name. You go to that certification because you want to network with the right people. I just I just finished what you call the 48 days life coaching seminar. I paid $4,800. And it's a mastermind group. The stuff that they taught there was, how to listen, how to bring out the best in other people, et cetera, which I normally do anyway, which we do to our patients anyway, how to evaluate a person or stuff like that. But I learned a little bit, but the best thing I learned there is I learned how to market. I went out and met, authors like Dan Miller, speakers like Ken Julian, and just big time speakers, John Maxwell, Dave Ramsey, come on now. And those same people in that same group, I met them and networked with them. And it's just amazing, not because I got that certification, but because I met people. And I think that's the same with CAPS too. And I know it's not as fancy, but when you go and get your CAPS, you will meet builders. You'll meet real estate people, and you're going to go out there and you'll be like, oh, I need to network more. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would
So
answer
it's
that
key to
as a
get out and
marketing
network.
thing.
Definitely, it's key to get out and network, whether it's through the certification, through the courses, or just on your own. Definitely,
Mhm.
that's huge because you want to have that network to rely on
Good.
for, referrals and resources, so that when you find things as you come across in when seeing clients in the home that you may not be able to address, you have a resource to turn around and refer out to.
Good. Good. All right. Lynn says, I do home health part-time after school. I assess vision with every PT or patient.
Nice.
Also, I used to live in Dixon, so I know Martin well. Well, at
Yeah.
least somebody knows where I live. And
That's
have
good.
you gone? Okay, there's another question here. Have you gone back into homes to see if your client actually took your advice? Do you feel your services have prevented hospitalization or a higher level of care? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, I feel like, well, as far as following up, I think, I've done the education as far as training them on it and making sure they're using it. I have not really been following up down the road with them to see how they're doing with it. If it's, unless it's somebody that I would hire for well visits, which I have not had yet. But, you know, no, I haven't had follow up, but I definitely know that it does make a difference, because
You know what? Hmm.
just putting things into place that they haven't had, that they weren't aware of, that they can now move about more freely and do things on their own with less caregiver assistance, you're making a difference.
Good. That's the one thing I noticed about the difference between a Medicare patient and a cash patient. My
Yeah.
Medicare patient, they'll not even do my home exercise program. They won't even do, the simple breathing exercise I recommend. I normally
Yeah.
recommend breathing exercise every hour. I won't even
Yeah.
do that. But if there's a
They're not
cash patient,
motivated.
I got cash
Yeah.
patient, they do it, and
Yeah.
they will
What's
do
the
it because
drive?
they're invested on it. So I think that's
Exactly.
going to be the difference there. If you have a
Hmm.
cash paying person, they will definitely take it into heart and do it. So
Yeah.
there's one more question here, Jen. I
For
know
sure.
I know you're busy. Do you use building modification software to demonstrate the home modifications you're recommending? Do you use a software for this or just paper?
Um, no, I haven't used any software at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
just
paper.
paper
Okay.
drawings and specs to talk to the builders if need be.
Okay. I think that's I think that's the beauty of this. You don't have to be fancy, you
You
don't
don't.
have to have
You
all
don't
this
really.
big
Yeah.
crazy app. And that's my main problem. I wanted to be, I want to be perfect. I want to do this and that. Actually, if you're gonna look at my camera here, there's a big camera right over here. Let me show it to you. Well, never mind. Big fancy DSLR. I have all the fancy lenses. My wife even bought me fancy lens, a microphone that is really fancy, and I'm not even using it. You know what? I use this simple computer video thing, simple computer, and I don't even simple lampshade here. I have all the fancy umbrella thing, and I don't use it. And sometimes we get stuck, finding what's really good when in fact we're just finding excuses not to take action. So I think that's good. So, all right. I hope that
What?
answers your question, Christina. So, all right. So the key here is you take action, irregardless if you have the certification or not, you have uh, business experience or not. The key here is
Yeah.
we need to take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. I like what Alex and Will always say in our group in SSPT: imperfect action beats perfect in action. It may not, your website may not be perfect, your first client may not be perfect, you may not get a patient on the first month, second month, third month, but the key
Yeah.
here is you're doing something, you're starting something, and you get that and use that momentum. And that's what we're here for in Alternative Healthcare Group. That's what we're here for. Jennifer is here for to help us, how to start this small business for you and alternative business, alternative healthcare for us. So if you don't have any more questions, you can email me, email Jennifer, shoot us a message, sign up in our course, regardless if somebody will sign up or not. I'm still gonna interview and do this with Jennifer because we want to know. I want to know more about this, and be the best that we can be. You know, I'm here to also help Jennifer. We've talked about marketing materials. Our goal for Jennifer is to create her own book, so she could also use that in her marketing materials. So right now we're slicing up what you call that slicing up all her website, the information there, and we're going to make it as an ebook and a book that we can publish, and she can use that as a marketing material for her business. And, you know, it's a win-win situation. I learn from her. She learns from me. You guys listen to the course or, you know, ask questions, and we can bring out the best in each other. So if you don't have any more questions, I will let Jennifer go. Wait, what time is it? It's almost 8. So thank you very much for all your questions. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
watching
you.
in our live webinar and also in our page. And oh, just one more question. How did you two get connected? We got connected in alternative careers group.
Yes.
So yep, you know, there's so much great people in that group. You know, I tried to connect with everyone, but it's just so hard. But there's so much winners in that group. You know, come and join. You know, post, ask questions there. No MLL, okay? But you know, our goal is to help people bring out the best in you and help out each other, and that way we can be the best that we can be, not only for ourselves, not only for our clients, not only for our patient, but leaving a good legacy to our family. So that's our goal there. So again, any last wisdom that you can share for us, Jennifer?
It's just a matter of, you know, taking the initiative and getting out there, because the people that are out there doing it right now have less training than we do. And we need to get out there and do what's right by the people. You know, let them really remain independent in the community and give them the tools and resources that we already know about.
That's so true. That's so true. I like what she said. She said there are a lot of people who are doing this who have less training than us. I'm not saying, you know, in the gym that I go to, the personal trainers are training people. I saw an old man going to him being taught, and I said, I mean, we are more trained to do that, and they're paying them that X amount of dollars. Same thing with this business here. If a lot of your people are doing it, and I'm not saying they don't have the right training, we as therapists, we get more training. Why can we not do it? So if Jennifer can do it, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. All right.
Absolutely.
So again, God bless you. I wish you all the best. And we will see you again on our next webinar. Again, thank you. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mike.
Hope you have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.